Ah, whoa, I'm on fire. I'm on fire again. Back up. Opening the hood. Hello there, viewers. Good day to you and welcome back to the channel. I'm glad you guys are here. This is a part 2 video on this 2006 Ford F150. It's got the 4.6 Triton in it. This thing came in a couple weeks ago. A customer was complaining of a severe vibration while driving. They drove it in, and on my test drive, this is the one where the drive shaft fell out of it. You guys, some of the naysayers in comment land said that I faked that because of the strange camera angle. That was just not the case. To shed a little bit more light on it, what I had done on my test drive, this should put this matter to bed, is when I drove it, I had a camera here and here looking at the rear end. Then I came back to the shop and I put another camera here, and then I put another one right down here looking that direction. And as I was maneuvering through the parking lot with my two cameras, the drive shaft fell out, and of course that was the scene that I had used because it was a drive shaft falling out. Anyway, we got the drive line all fixed up, with the exception of the replacement shaft. When it came in, half of it had a bend in it. Well, since we're not really a fan of all this amount of run out right here, it looks like since I love my job so much, I'm gonna have to get another drive shaft and do it again. So I've got another drive shaft over here on the ground. We're gonna pull that one apart and swap it out and then finish that first fix. But anyway, back to the content of this video. When I drove it after the drive shaft was finally installed, we had found that this engine was severely underpowered and it was misfiring. The thing wouldn't get out of its own way. We ultimately had found a spark plug on cylinder number 7, which was super nasty, very, very eroded. They could have been the originals to the truck. Number 7 is the second from last cylinder here, and we had found coolant in that spark plug as well as a bunch of other nasty spark plugs. So what we had done is pulled the 8 coils out, put a set of plugs in it, and we found that the coolant was leaking, and I don't know how it ended up way over there, but it might have been spraying actually, but it was leaking through a busted fitting back here on these heater core hoses. So it's been running for the better part of about an hour now. We have found no more coolant leaks. The coolant's been topped off after we made the ignition system repair and after I made the heater hose repair on it. And by we, I mean Dave and Justin did the spark plugs and whatnot on it. That part was not me. However, during that test drive, I also had noted a smell of stinky rotten eggs coming from the exhaust. And that combined with the lack of power and the engine feeling choked out. Get this boat on the road here. Full speed. Yeah, this thing is no way running on all 8 cylinders. There's no way. I have like the pedal to the floor. We're barely going anywhere. I concluded preliminarily that the catalytic converter had suffered some kind of a clog to it. So what we're gonna do is we're gonna check that out right now and see if the cat has an issue. As of this point, the thing is running much more better, but it's got to make its way back to Pennsylvania soon, so we need to make sure this thing is going to be capable of getting back to its home country. Starting the engine. Fires right up. I feel no misfires. Nothing shaky. This is good. So what we're going to do now, I am going to move this thing over. We're going to set it up on the lift over there in the second stall, and we're going to take a look at the converter on this thing, take a look at the exhaust, and we're going to see if there is in fact a restriction. Now, you might be asking yourself, how do we know if inside of the exhaust system has some kind of restriction? And we're going to use a thermal imager to take a peek at the heat radiation coming from the exhaust system, and that's going to let us know if there's any kind of restriction in said exhaust system. If there is a restriction, I have a catalytic converter sitting right there on the box, or in the box on the parts washer. So if we determine that there is a problem with the exhaust, we're going to chop out the old converter and weld in a new one. So stay tuned, because this is going to be a very good video. But before we do all that, I would like to take a moment to acknowledge and thank this video's sponsor, which is me and the Rain Man Merchandising Company at Rain Man Rays Repairs. Check us out today to visit our new custom lineup of delicious, cheaper than Starbucks K-Cup coffees. They come in a gigantic box of this nature. I believe there's 20 K-Cups in coffee gravity. I believe there's 20 K-Cups in here. They should fit nearly any Keurig machine except for those ones with the microchips designed to not allow aftermarket K-Cups to be installed in their machine. Other than that form of planned obsolescence, again, go ahead and check out RainManRaysRepairs.com. Check out our merchandise section. You will find loads and loads of custom merch, including hats, t-shirts, stickers, mugs, and our ever popular Manic Morning Rain Man Rays Repairs coffee. And now that I have my delicious coffee, let's get back after it. Okie dokie, we have the lift arm set up on said F150. We're gonna move on over to the black subscribe button. That's here to cleverly remind all you new people to consider subscribing to the channel. That way you do not miss out on any future content. And I will end my second moment of shameless self-promotion. Because that's what this YouTube gig's all about, you know, you gotta get the word out to folks. That's what they tell me anyway. Anyway, what we're gonna do, oh, I failed right from the get-go. I have to start the engine. So what we're gonna do, we're gonna let this thing up in the air, we're gonna start it, and we're gonna take a peek at that converter with a thermal imager. And that's gonna tell us, I think, everything that we need to know. So, let me climb on in here real quick. We'll squeeze over there and hit the key, fire this unit up. Bear with me, guys. I'm over here wasting time, jaw jacking. All right. She lives again. Oh, let that go. Yeah, it still smells stinky. All right. One more click. There it is. Okay, top of the rack. We're gonna let her down on the safety locks. Double clickage. There we go. Okay, so we'll start from the back to the front, I guess. So we've got our fine super loud exhaust tips back here. Running forward, 2 pipes, one on either side. Those are going to collect at what looks to be a Flowmaster muffler. Moving on forward some more, we've got our little splitter right here. This is the passenger side converter. And right here is the driver side converter. This is the unit in question right here. So let's head over here. We'll fire up the thermal imager. I don't get to use this tool as often as I'd like kind of once a year. It's a very handy dandy tool. Paid too much money for it, but it is valuable in certain scenarios. So, you take a peek here. The left-hand corner is going to give us a digital temperature readout, and then the screen will give us visuals with a scale in degrees on the Fahrenheit scale. See that? 108 degrees Fahrenheit. So, up here in front of the converter, this pipe is looking like it's 320, 302. It cools off as we get a little farther back. We have 420 up front. Let's compare that with the other side. 369, 370 up front in the same area. This converter at the inlet is 310 degrees. Driver side converter at the inlet, about 300. Not exactly consistent just yet. Ow! The AC water that dripped on my back and it's warm. That was painful-ish. Burned from the air conditioning. Anyway, here's our converter. This is driver side, and look what we see here. The converter body has got a very hot spot right here, and there's another hot spot right here. See that? This hot spot on the back side, right now we're at 240 degrees, and in front of that we're 186. If we come over here to this one, a little bit of a hot spot up at the top, 220. Tell you what we're gonna do. 250 on the outlet. We're gonna rev this thing a little bit and let it heat up. So now we're 150 over here on this side, see that? Yeah, let's put some more heat into this exhaust and then we'll come back down here and recheck it. Now, one thing that's letting me know that the owners of this car may know about is we're getting a DTC out of this vehicle. And I believe they have been previously made aware of it because someone's come through and replaced both of the oxygen sensors on this side. If we look over here at that guy, that O2 has not been replaced. And that one also has not been replaced. So we're gonna check the converter body one more time. My highest temperature that we have so far is 243. That's at the top right here. And this one, look at that, big ol' hot spot. Yeah, we're heating up now, 290, 288. Okay, let's let it down. I'm gonna give it some RPM throttle action, and then we're gonna go back down below and then check those temps again and see if we have a restriction. I think we do. Release, coming down. All the way downish. So what we do, we're gonna come down, I'm gonna hop inside, we're gonna hold the throttle about 2 grand for 30-40 seconds, put a bunch of heat into the exhaust stream, and we'll come back and check it again. You see, checks and rechecks, that is the cornerstone of the scientific method. You've got to verify your results, and they have to be repeatable in order for them to be valid. And if they're not verifiable and repeatable, then you really don't have results, do you? So here, let's idle this thing up. About 2 grand. We'll hold it for a couple seconds. 25, too high. Yeah, I'll hold it right here for about 30 seconds and then we'll go back down below. Stay right here, don't go anywhere. Yeah, she's cooking now. I can smell the rotten eggs.
Like tons of coke. Why you wear smelly eggs?
10 more seconds. Alright, we're good there. That was 30 seconds of between 2,000 and 4,000 RPM with varying throttle loads. That should be plenty to get some heat going. So, thermal imager, powering back on. Let's raise this thing up one more time and then take another look at the exhaust. Moving back up. Second chance, slash subscribe button. Woo! Okay, we're back up. Safety locks. There we go. I know that part's boring, but we gotta do it. There we go. Now we're getting somewhere. Look at that guy. 570. The body, the coolest part of the body, that's 400. Out back here, 430. And we compare it to the other side. That's 480. 416. There's a little bit of a hot spot on the top of this side. The front of the body, 360. But here's my issue back on the driver's side. Look at the difference in the heat intensity. Yep, there we go. 575. Almost 600 degrees, and I know it'll heat up hotter, and that's happening right here in the center of this unit. Comparatively on this side, we're not even close to that temperature. Yeah, behind us, that's 50% hotter, which leads me to conclude there's a restriction in this converter right here. So now, let's try one more method to try to confirm this, and in this particular instance, we might be able to get away with it. If I were to remove this O2 sensor here in the converter, I can maybe stick a borescope in there and get a visual on the interior of that converter. If we find that it's damaged or melted or anything like that, then we can conclude for sure that it's a failed unit. So we're gonna let her down again, shut it off, raise it back up, pull that O2 sensor out, and then go in there with a camera and try to visually identify a restriction. Okay, back on the ground. Let's go on around to the driver's side. We're gonna shut her down. I need to let it cool off for a little while before we start fiddling with it, because that is like a 700-degree piece of metal and I don't want to mess with it, so I'll be back with you guys in a minute. I think we're gonna swap out the drive shaft while we wait for this thing to cool off. Okie dokes, we're back down below here. There's the O2 sensor. Now this thing's still piping hot, but I don't have that kind of patience, so I mean, I waited about 20 minutes, but still, it's still a little warm here. We're gonna try to crack this thing loose. Take a peek inside. Unclick. All right, it's turning. It didn't feel that hot or that great. At first, it felt like it was yanking threads out, which it better not, because that would upset me. It would upset me greatly. I think we're there. This thing's still too hot to touch. Sure is. Woo, buddy. Okay, sensor's off. That gives us a little bit of access into that unit there. Let's see if we can't see anything through the hole. Yeah, not a chance. So I'm gonna fire up the borescope. We're gonna go in there and just try to look around. I don't know if we're gonna see anything good, but we can at least try. Okay, Milwaukee Borescope powering up. It's the M12 version. It's basically a TV screen with a camera on the end of a stick. See that right there? So we're gonna shove this thing into that hole over yonder and take a peek for any kinds of restrictions we may find. Okay, camera's ready to rock and roll. Here is our viewing area. What I want to do, we're going to turn this a little left and try to sneak in there. All right, so it looks like there's two sides to this converter. There's a void in the middle where the sensor goes, right? That white business we're looking at on the left, that's part of the core material. Let me turn down the light. Real tough to see. Yeah, this is gonna be really hard to see, guys. I can see some damage to the internals here, but I can't really get around the corner effectively. There we go, there's some. I hope this camera picks that up. You guys see all those little splotches and whatnot all over that core? That's damage to this converter. I'm going to turn the camera around to point towards us, and we're going to see the back side of the other core. Look at all that. See all that crusty looking business on there? And the resolution's horrible, but I'm hoping you get the picture. Yeah, this unit's clogged up. So what we're going to do now, I'm going to take you guys over to the new converter and I'll show you what it's supposed to look like. Now this is an aftermarket converter. This is not a California compliant, but this thing's not going to California. You can see right there, there's none of that splotchy business on that core. If I were to hold this up to some light, you may be able to see light through it. See that right there? You can imagine that that core material is like a bundle of straws. Like, you ever see like drinking straws that come in that plastic wrap? Big old tube of straws in there, and they're much, much smaller. That's what you consider the inside of a catalytic converter. Just a whole bunch of straws. Kind of like the straw that comes on a brake clean can. It's just thousands and thousands of those little guys, and they are lined and coated with the catalyst material designed to convert some of the exhaust gases into a less harmful gas. Make sense? Good. That's what this is for. So it's basically a filter to change one pollutant to another pollutant, or a less severe pollutant. Now, we have already confirmed that that converter over there is clogged, so let's bust out the Sawzall and chop it off, and then we'll actually get a good view of the insides of said unit. Power that guy off, and I'm gonna go fetch the Sawzall. It's Milwaukee time again. Not sponsored, that's just what I bought. Yeah, I know, Diablo blades are the best, I know, but I don't have any more Diablos. I got these Milwaukee ones. Yeah, it should be fine. Okay, well, I choose to take the path of most destruction, so let's get cutting. Now, one would say you should cut here. I'm not gonna do that. I'm actually gonna cut right here, because the pipe on that new converter is 2.5 inches. And this is or the 2.5 on the outside diameter. This converter is 2.5 on the inside diameter, so if I make a cut here, I should be able to slip the new one into that collar, so to speak, and provide a better seal and an easier time welding. So we're gonna cut it here first. Loud noises. Yaha! Got it. Alright, well, my theory about that collar business is inaccurate because this pipe goes all the way through. I can see some of it right there inside. No matter, we'll go out back and cut the other side off and we'll fit the new unit. Alright, so we're back here on the back side of the converter. Oh, you got it? Back side of the converter here. I need to make a cut on this side of the weld, similar to that front side. But I can't because this is in the way. So I got a couple options here. I can take this cross member out and make this harder than it has to be, or I can pull this exhaust pipe back, pulling the converter back, exposing my cut point. So I'm gonna go with option B, and I shall utilize a ratchet strap mechanism here in order to do that. So what I'll do, I'm gonna wrap this strap around the exhaust, give us something to pull on, and then back here, gotta figure something to hook it up to. I think I can get away with using the lift arm.
No, God! No, God, please, no! 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 No!
Nope, hole in the frame right there. Look at that. So now, pull this guy tight, and we will just simply ratchet the ratcheting mechanism in order to pull that exhaust pipe backwards so I can make a good cut. See that? Nice and exposed like. So now I can cut that with ease. We've managed to pull it back probably about 2 inches or so. While we're here, let's look at that converter. Oh yeah, you guys see that thing? It's annihilated. 1000% annihilated. It's nasty. All right, let's cut it off, see what happens. Reissuing loud noises warning now. Look at that, guys. Look at all this stuff falling out of that converter. You guys see it? There's all kinds of crap floating out. I need to put a fan on me because I'm not going to breathe that stuff in. No, sir. Not going to die today. Okay, the air is clear. Let's cut it some more. Got it! Woo. Just as I had suspected. Look at this right here. It's like packing material, insulation from the inside of it. Bunch of precious metals all over the floor. It's like 60 bucks wasted. That's still hot. There we go. Okay, that looks like it's the back side. A little bit of damage over there. Let's flip her around. More pieces fell out. Here's our front side. Let's get a light in there. Yep, massive carnage. You guys see that? See all those little clogged pieces in there? That's no bueno. That is a restriction in the converter. Oh, look here, you can see a bunch of the insulation material. See all that? Cool beans. Okay. So now we need to get the new one fitted into position, which is over here. Now it flows in that direction. That's particularly important. But what we don't need to do is set these stickers on fire. So peel off as much of that as I can until I get bored, and we'll quit and just let it burn. And I'm bored now. This side has no stickers, so let's see how well our fitment is going to fit. go ahead and stick this guy up in the hole. That's going to be our orientation right there, so we can fit the O2 sensor. And I think I'm just going to have to butt this up right against that weld and just send it. Same thing with the backside. Okay, we'll roll out the welder here. Now this is the part where everybody decides to unsubscribe because I'm a horrible welder and it's not my forte by any means. I've always maintained that I can muddle my way through it, but my welds are in no way like structural. I'm not a welder. I don't weld as for a living. I own a welder for this kind of stuff. It's going to be cosmetically horrible, but it won't fall apart and it will work. So please reserve your hatred and your for another channel if you happen to be a welder and you despise my actual welds. I'm not a welder, but it sure beats not fixing the cars. Let's get this thing kind of set up in position here. I'll tack it on a couple spots and then we'll connect it, tack it on. Actually, you know what? I kind of feel like I should tack it at the rear first. That way I have space to actually make the welds up here, and then we can release the strap, mate it to the front, and then weld it on up here. That's probably gonna be easier. So we're gonna weld it back here first. Okay, converter coming in. We get this oriented properly, so everybody's in their exact correct locations. That should be about it. And I'm gonna come in, I'm gonna give it one good tack weld right here, just to hold it, and then we'll try to fit everything. Squint your eyeballs, goggles on. Oh, that one didn't hold. Do it again. Seriously? Okay, I have released. It is holding in position as of right now. So now, we can double check a few things, make sure we have the right clearances. That will fit. And this needs a little bit of realignment. So here's what we're gonna do. I'm going to release the strap, let this pipe move back forward till it wants to make contact over here. We will line this up properly and then come back over here and then weld it more securely. That way the angles are proper. And then we'll go around, re-weld that up, and then bring this back forward again and then weld it up here. So we'll do that last, but we have to align it. That's the point here. So let's release our strap. You guys hang out right over here, keep an eyeball on that converter, make sure it doesn't fall off. And I am releasing the strap as we speak. Slowly, not violently. There we go. Okay, so this exhaust pipe is now just kind of chilling, but we are out of alignment quite severely, actually. Interesting. Here, in order to correct that gap and allow us to line this up, I moved the strap around to the front. So now we're going to pull this pipe forward to bring it up to meet onto this one here. That's odd. It strikes me as a little weird because I thought I had eyeball measured this exactly perfect, but it's not exactly perfect now, is it? There we go.
So we have fast forwarded about 14 minutes and clearly you can see there is a much better alignment of the converter. That's because I broke the tack welds off and then aligned them up, used the ratchet strap to pull the Y pipe up to the converter, sandwiching it between its intake pipe and the Y pipe. And now we're going to tack weld that on and proceed.
Okay, so I've been doing a bit of fiddling around here just to get this lined up. We have the hole right, that is correct, and back here we've got it pretty much lined up the way we want. So what I will do is we're going to tack this side in a little bit better from the angles that we're at. Then I'll release the strap, I'll pull the exhaust farther back with said strap, exposing the remainder of my weld area that I need to pay attention to, and then we'll weld this up fully on the back side. Then we can bring it back to the front side and then weld it up right over here at this area. Hope all this makes sense. Squint your eyeballs. I'm gonna get a good tack on it. There's a gap that is formed because my cut wasn't perfect. So I'm gonna have to do some gap filling with the weld action. A little bit more. A little bit more. Grinder and paint make me the welder I ain't. Okay, I think that's good. So let's release the strap again. Okay, releasing the strap. The converter is moving away from the pipe that we cut. There we go. So now we're gonna go back around, bring this strap around to the rear side. We'll reconnect it to the frame like what we had. And then we'll bring this whole pipe backwards so I can get the thing welded up on the back side. That gives me a lot more space to play with here. Good. Okay, time for more welding. Okay, I think we're about halfway there. These welds are about as ugly as gonna be, but it's made contact all the way around, including the top side. The top was super duper hard, and I just was back there blah, 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 just throwing metal on it, trying to see what would stick. And I believe I have the thing all the way sealed up. So next we release the ratchet strap. Releasing the strap, kind of draw that strap tight. There we go. Okay, we are released, and it looks like I bent some flexed. There we go, I flexed a few things. So what I'll do, the strap is now over here back to the front. We'll just use this strap to pull this into position here. Let's see how close. Oh, look at that. That thing lined right up. That was gorgeous. How about that? Okay, a little bit of hammer action on it, just to straighten it up. There we go. She's in position. Let's weld it together. Bright lights. This should be an easier weld because I can kind of see what I'm trying to see here. There's a good tack. I'll do another one right here. It's not a good tack, I missed. Okay, that thing's now secured, so time to run a bead around and around, and I really hope I can get the back side welded up. That's going to be a tough one, I think. There's not a lot of space back there, but I'll try it.
Yeah, the welders, this ought to be good. The heat's turned up too high. I need gas. I burn a hole in it. welding around the hole, fill the hole back in. I have no idea what I'm doing. I'm not a good welder, but it's welded together, so I'm good with this. It works. It's cheap. It's fixed. We're done.
We are so very close. I need to get a little bit more action up at the top there. That's going to be the hard part because I can't really get an angle for the angle on it on this with this gun here. Try it like this, shove that up there, go like that, and I'll walk it back towards me in this direction. Doing that's fine as long as you don't burn a hole through the dang thing. You burn a hole through it and you're out of luck. It'll end up being party over with. But if you can do that without burning holes in them, you'll be all right.
I, for one, can't do that without burning holes in it.
Here, I'll just put that back for now while I'm waiting for a minute. Let this cool off a little. I'll wire brush it and see if I've got any spots that I missed. I think I've got it all. So I want to go ahead and get it fired up here as soon as I can. Why is this sensor not threading in? Probably because the threads are chowdered up from all the rust. Hey, not bad. Looking good. Ah, whoa, I'm on fire. I'm on fire again. Back up. Oops. Hey, better that than my knee, right? Look at that. Holy macaroni. It's still on fire. That's not safe. I'm calling OSHA. Oh, that thing stinks. It's still on fire. Uniform guy's gonna be mad at me. Sorry, Cintas. I set your fender covers on fire. Didn't mean to. Here, put that over there. Under the gas tank. There we go. Okay, so now that the fire's been extinguished, I decided I need to go ahead and get a new O2 sensor, which has already been ordered because this one that I just removed, it's got some boogered up threads from when I removed it there. I don't have a O2 sensor thread chase, so we're just gonna get a new one. They're kind of cheap. It was like 60 bucks or whatever. So, waiting on that thing to arrive. When the new one shows up, we'll screw it in, fix the heat shield. Actually, I'll put the heat shield back together while we wait. And then once that O2's in there, we're gonna hop back in, we'll fire it up and figure out if there's any leaks or not at those welds. If there are leaks, then I'll go back in and throw more metal on top of the leak until it's no longer a leak. And then after that, we'll go out and take this thing for a ride, see if it's gonna work or not. So let's straighten this up some. Now, this heat shield is super mangled. I didn't mangle it, it came that way. It was like that when it got here, said every technician ever. Yeah, it was like that when you brought it in. No, seriously, this one really was. The other bolt, that goes through right here. And then the hole, there it is, right there. There's the hole. I found it with my flange. Stick that back in. I lost the hole. There. In there. There we go. Good. Everything's a hammer. Including the business end of an electron ratchet. You gotta ram it in there. Beep. All right, it's been about 45 minutes waiting on the parts store, guys, but we have an O2 sensor here, got a replacement. So this one should thread in no problem. Very nice and beautifully like. Get that guy in there. tighten this thing down, and then we're gonna go fire this engine back up. You spin me round, round, baby, round, round, like an O2 sensor. Round, roundy, round, round. Okay, and some torque achieved, clickage. And right over here, we'll get this guy plugged into its connector. Get on there, please. Click. All right, that's good. That's good. Let's take my ratchet strap back, and then we'll let this thing down. That's the way everyone tells me to release ratchet straps, but that's rather violent, and I like to walk them down rather than just give it a sudden release. You gotta build up to it, you know what I mean? There you go. Okay, let's let her down. Back around to our black subscribe button. Off the locks. Coming down. All the way down. Mostly all the way down. That should be good. Uh-oh, locked out. We're locked up. Don't let me out. Let's try it over here. Engine starting sequence beginning. Whisper, whisper, whisper action. Tells me I have a minimal leak. We'll bring it back up, find out, won't we? And then we can conclude our finalized test drive, as long as everything's good. Okay, that should be good. Let's go fetch the chair and roll on down there. Take a gander. Move that over. Oh yeah. So what I'm gonna do, I'm gonna feel around, and I'm feeling for exhaust leaks here. Nothing there. And the one I was worried about is this guy over here. There's one, a couple little ones. Okay, so I got a couple little leaks. Not a huge deal. I'm gonna fire the welder back up real quick. We're gonna spot weld those leaks back up, and then we'll let this out off the rack and go out for a test drive. Be right back. We're gonna hit the road in about 4 minutes. Okay, so recap we did so far in total on this truck. Put a drive shaft in it. Did that twice. The other one's outside in the box. We resealed the rear diff cover, put new oil in it, placed the pinion seal, pinion flange, carrier bearing that came with the drive shaft. We also put a transmission tail shaft seal in this unit. Then we did a set of spark plugs, fixed a coolant leak, replaced one catalytic converter, and replaced the rear parking brake shoes, rear rotors, and rear brake pads. So I think now this truck might be good to go. So let's go ahead and get her backed on out of here. Punch for safety. Okay. The rack is cleared. Did that when you guys weren't looking. That looks good. Let's get her backed out. I don't feel that shaky misfire. The engine sounds a lot better. Get backed out right here. We're about to run over a Dorman box. Just the end of it though, just the side. There we go. Put some tire tread marks on it for the parts store. There we are. Okay, looking good in the neighborhood. That's all right. Let's get some AC in here because the humidity's through the roof. Look, it needs a blower motor resistor. 1, 2, and 3 do not work, but 4 does work. It's got a bad resistor as well. It's an indicative sign of a failed blower motor resistor because the resistive circuits are not functioning. It's just the pass-through circuit, which is 4, that's full power. So when you select 1, 2, or 3, you get a bit of resistance in that circuit, and it reduces current flow and voltage, etc., and slows the motor down. Anyway, let's go out and give this some throttle and see if it actually has more than 36 horsepower. Okay, I think we're good here. Pulling out. Hey, look at that. We're getting somewhere. Oh, what? It just fell on its face. Track light was flashing. What is that? track control is mad. Okay. Yeah, it has power, then it loses it. Oh, come on, this thing's murder. I don't want to do any more work on it, but it's losing power. Ay, 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 ay. Okay, so track control system, that's a whole new, yep, ABS is going off. I'm hitting the brake. Whoa, it's pulling me real hard this way. Okay, so why is ABS going off? Yep, you hit the brake, it lunges real hard in that direction. Look at that. All right, so now we have to do more stuff. I can't be calling this guy back every like 45 minutes trying to sell more stuff that's wrong. I gotta wonder, how did this truck even make it down here from Pennsylvania? Because I wouldn't drive this thing to the grocery store at this point. Like, come on, man. I'm frustrated, you guys. I'm sorry. I'm not whining at you. I just did not expect that to happen at all. This is like a end of week failure session. I got the Mazda that wasn't right, and this isn't right. That was weird. Yeah, okay, well, let's go back, hook up the scan tool real fast, and see if we have a code pending for a wheel speed sensor or something like that. The Odyssey continues, guys. The Odyssey continues, because I got to get this thing right. I can't send this kid home with a death trap truck to Pennsylvania. Not from Florida, nope. For the record, though, it did seem to feel like it had a lot more power on its way out. You know what? I know what it's doing. Now it wants to pull back engine power because the misfire's gone. So before, the track control system wasn't reducing engine power because it had a misfire and it was already reduced. I never put enough torque into it for torque management to do anything. And now torque management's taking over. So we're getting somewhere, I think. We're getting somewhere. Is that truck on fire? You guys see that? A bunch of smoke coming out. Yeah, whatever. Green light. Let's see if this will work long enough to get some kind of horsepower out of it. No, it's I've got no throttle. Yeah, see, when it's not track controlling and ABSing, it feels great. But right now, ABS pump's going off. So every time I hit the brakes, the pump's going off. Wow. Yeah, so what it is, I think there's a wheel speed sensor reading nothing or open circuit, and track control is pulling back throttle actuation because it thinks it has wheel speed slip or spin or something. So let's go investigate that real quick, and I'm gonna buy some more parts for this bird. See, this is scary because if you have unreliable engine power, please move, Jeep. Yeah, look, no power right here. So if I had to pull it up in front of somebody, you might not go anywhere. And now we have power again. Yeah, now this feels normal. Yep, there it is, reduced engine power. I'm still on the throttle too. Did you see that? See how when the light was on, it killed throttle and ABS is going off. All right. So if it's pulling left when I hit the brakes, that means it thinks that the right front wheel is locking up. So to the scan tool we go. It's like perpetual Diagon repair on this thing. It never ends. Let's go fetch that scanner danner real quick. Run that box over again. Man, I was all excited. We were about to be done, and now we're not done. Now we're doing more. Park this thing. Now, we're not going to shut it off because the events that just occurred are going to be logged in the keep alive memory. We don't want to get rid of the memory of those events, so we're not going to shut it off. We're just going to plug in, scan it, talk to it, and go from there. All right, that guy back on. Let me find my dongle. I know it's dark in here, but we got a flashlight to help us out. Dongle action right there. It's an illuminated dongle. There we go. Scanning, wake up. Well, here, while we're waiting, it sounds a bajillion times better. Absolutely. Yes. So now we just have a control module problem pulling back engine power. Almost there. I think we're like 96.2% ready to rock and roll here. Let's see, we're gonna go into ABS. That's what we want. That's what I want. Da 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 da. I just fingerprinted the lens. Excuse me. Okay, codes menu. Let's see if it's set a DTC. Maybe not, because the light's not on here. Maybe it did, maybe it didn't. Left front wheel speed sensor signal input. Right front wheel speed sensor signal input. Come on. Wheel speed error. All right, so let's pull up data. I'm gonna clear those out. So it's saying both of the fronts had no wheel speed sensors, which is fine. Code's cleared. Now, let's see why we don't have an ABS light. Shut it off, key it back on. Yeah, there's the light. So those codes did not trigger a DTC, or it did not at least trigger the light to turn on yet, which is odd. Let's go into data. And here in data, what we will do is we're gonna drive this. Lights don't work. We're gonna drive this thing some. We're gonna watch the wheel speeds. So here we go. Left front wheel speed, right front. I'm sorry, left front, left rear, right front, right rear. That's gonna be these units right here. And we're gonna set this up for a 4 graph. So all of our wheel speed sensors are going to be graphed. Left front, left rear, right front, right rear, okay? So we're gonna go ahead and back this thing out. There we go. Let's back it out and see if one of these sensors is dropping out while we're driving. That's pretty much how we diagnose this. Well, this video is all over the place. Tune-ups, and drive shafts falling out, wheel speed sensors, anti-lock brakes, spark plugs, engine coolant. Yeah, this video is everywhere. Sorry. No consistency in content type. Moving forward, we see wheel speed actuation. Right front, it's falling off the face of the earth. That's the one. Let's wait for this car to... Alright, let's pull back out. Yep, there it was. As soon as we lose power, we lose right front wheel speed sensor. See it? All that erratic motion right there? That's cutting back our engine. All right, I'm turning around. Real quick review of this graph one more time. That right front's killing us. Look at all that, that jagged waveform. That's not what we want to see. So it's losing connection. Let's go ahead and get out of here and go back to the shop. No need to go back over the bridge. But it makes great power when the ABS is not shutting us off. Yeah, look, that pull we just did, everything was working just like it's supposed to. See that? We had plenty of throttle authority. So I need to diagnose this thing real quick. It's either the wheel bearing or the actual sensor itself. Could be the connection, could be a chafed through wire. I do not know. So let me go take a look at that, and we will make the appropriate repairs after I figure out what's going on with the wheel speed sensor. That being said, guys, I think this video has gone on long enough. I'm sure we're well over an hour right now. So I'm gonna go ahead and close this one out. We're 99.5% there, I think. We just got that little extra to go in, and then we should be all right and ready to rock and roll. So guys, I'm gonna go ahead and close this one out. Let me know, as always, what you think about this video in the comment section down below. Do not forget to engage that like and subscribe button. That guy back there has no idea what I'm doing in this truck, sitting here talking to myself. That was great, man. Anyway, hit that like, subscribe button on your way out, and most importantly, have yourselves a fantastic day. I'll catch you on the next one. We'll post a follow-up on this thing before we let it ride for good, and I will see you guys tomorrow. In the video, in the day, end of everything else besides transmission on this particular Ford. See you guys later.